Hey guys, this is Joseph from Play Tennis. Today I'm going to be talking about the NTRP, National Tennis Rating Program. This is a system that is used by the US Tennis Association to help them match players more evenly within a tournament or social event. This rating system is commonly being used in Singapore now and around the world, so it's important that we're familiar with it before we go to our next tournament. So level 1 or rating 1.0 means that you're a newbie, you're new to the sport of tennis, and your main focus is just on learning the basic rules and theory of tennis. On top of this, you might do some racket and ball coordination drills like this, as well as some basic ground stroke work at the halfway line or service line on both forehand and backhand side, with the main focus on just trying to get the racket to the ball. This is where we get on to the next level, which is rating 2.0. This is beginner level with little experience. So you might have done a few tennis lessons, but you're still trying to grasp the basics and take everything in. Again, here we'll be focusing on basic footwork and ground stroke techniques, which is the forehand and the backhand. Okay. At this point, the technique will still be fairly basic, simple take back, ball bounce, with the main focus on just getting the ball over the net. So the technique still needs to be worked on, as well as the footwork. So this is where we get on to the next level, which is high beginner or advanced beginner level, rating 3.0. This means you now developed your ground strokes further. You may be incorporating a bit of a C-swing like this into your ground strokes, which means you're accelerating the racket better, can generate more power on your ground strokes. However, you're still lacking that consistency, so you might not be able to do a full tennis rally yet. As well, you'll be introduced or getting started in the other areas of the game, the other shots, such as the serve, the volley, and the return. So in order to get from 3.0 to 4.0 level, which is intermediate level, you would have to further sharpen up your ground stroke consistency and your footwork, as well as work on the other shots in your game. So now we're on to the 4.0 rating or intermediate level. It means now that we can execute serve, return, volley, and ground strokes. However, areas such as the serve might still be lacking in terms of power. Okay, so we might be able to serve the ball in, but we're still going to be lacking in terms of the power that we're able to generate on the serve, because generally the serve is the toughest shot to learn as it's the most technical. So at this point, you can rally fairly consistently, but you might struggle in high-paced rallies if you're playing with advanced players or dealing with different types of spin. So now we're on to a player that's rating 4.5. This means they're an advanced intermediate player. They pretty much covered all bases in terms of the technical aspect, and they're able to execute all the shots relatively well. Their ground strokes will probably be the strongest part of their game. They can rally well for rallies of over 10 shots with spin and pace. However, they might be lacking specific tools within their game, which might be stopping them from getting to the next level, such as they might be lacking a big serve or certain defensive capabilities, such as effectively counterpunching. So very specific things. And at 4.5 level or rating, again, good player, but they need to target the specifics in order to get to the next rating. So when you're at 5.0 rating, it means you're an advanced player. This means you've really covered all bases of your game. You pretty much have all the strokes as well as weapons. Maybe you've developed that big serve. Okay, so advanced level player, also very good player. How can they get better? How can they get to rating 5.5? Again, it really comes down to attention to detail in tennis when we're talking about high levels and targeting very specific things. Okay, so what's the difference between a 5.0 player and a 5.5 rated player? Okay, the player with the rating of 5.5 is a highly advanced player. This means they've really knuckled down on all the possible weak points of their game. They pretty much have no weaknesses, just strengths and plus points. However, the 5.0 player, which is an advanced player, also a very good player, might still be lacking in certain areas of their game. They might be relatively weak on a very specific shot, such as their backhand volley. So when we're talking 5.5, we're talking almost professional guys that all bases covered, got weapons, and pretty much no weaknesses. So this is where we get on to the final rating, which is 6.0, professional tennis player. Of course, no weaknesses, and they just have more dimensions to their game, and they're able to execute amazing shots more consistently day in and day out, and that's what makes them the best, as well as just their dedication level to constantly wanting to improve. So when you look at a 6.0 rated player, professional tennis player, let's just throw out some names. Maria Sharapova, and she's retired now, but she was one of my favorite tennis players. In terms of the technical aspect, pretty much all there, but what made her 6.0 is her ability to perform under pressure in matches, win points, win championships, and just be an absolute boss. Okay, so 6.0 level hard work and dedication, you may get there, okay? But yeah, those are pretty much all the different rating levels that we've covered today of the National Tennis Rating Program. And I hope this helped and gives you a rough gauge to what level you might be. If you're still unsure, you can always get your coach to assess you and follow the US Tennis Association guidelines or the NTRP guidelines. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.